Let's talk more about these various policing stories with Nusrit Mehtab. She joins us. She's a former Scotland Yard superintendent. A very good morning to you, Nusrit.
Very good morning to you too.
It's actually a third story I want to get to. We've been talking about two of them. First of all, let's talk about these new measures apparently announced by Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, about putting neighbourhood bobbies back on the beat. I mean, I don't know. I've been a journalist for 30 years. I think I've written about this or talked about this about every 2 weeks in that for that entire time. We like to see police officers, we do, but this is particularly about having more police officers in the in at peak times in busy areas like that Friday night, Saturday night in town. Is there any police force in this country that is not already doing that?
Well, they are doing it, but they just don't have the numbers to do it fully. So I think there's a little bit of smoky mirrors, Julia, because, you know, neighbourhood policing, put more bobbies on the beat. Where are they going to get them from? It's 13,000 or 30, yeah, I think it's 13,000 they want to put back on the beat. Yeah. Where are these people coming from? They're not going to be new officers. They're going to take them away. Some of them will be taken away from their duties already, and we know that they're struggling. Then there'll be community support officers and special constables. Now, special constables are volunteers.
Yeah.
And so that's going to cause a problem, but they should be doing that already, putting people on peak times. I think the idea is that that you're going to have dedicated neighbourhood teams, dedicated contactable neighbourhood officer. We're going full circle to what used to be there before. Yeah. The government got rid of it.
But that's it. But even the contactable officer, I mean, I just have an email for the local copper overseeing everything in my area. But of course, these people are allowed to have holidays. They have weekends, they have families. They're not on shift every single day. So just one person. You mean having one direct email for and 3 people taking over that role, that would make sense. But it's just not realistic, is it?
No, I would agree with you there. I love the idea of neighbourhood policing because it works. And I think we all, like you said, all want to see bobbies on the beat. This isn't the issue. To solve things, they'll be dealing with shoplifting, burglary,
Really? When are they going out and doing that? I'd love to know when they're police doing that.
Well, Julia, they're not going to be able to do it because that isn't the issue.
We won't notice. They're not doing it anyway. I don't know anybody. Honestly, the local stores around my way, people I know who've had a burglary, I've finally got them to agree to CPS to prosecute my bag thief. I've never seen a police officer. I've been on email the whole time. Never had a phone call. Never met anyone in person. Nothing.
But even if you did see them, the fact is the people that they're putting on the street, community support officers, have got a lot of. I've got a lot of support for community support officers, special constables. They just don't have the same powers as a regular police officer.
What can they do? I mean, can they, chase after someone and arrest them?
No. So they can hold somebody and ask for a regular police officer to come. But if that person decided to walk off, they don't really have any special powers.
So they've got no more powers than we have. So I could do a citizen's arrest, but basically I'll get done for assault if I hold someone down, right?
Possibly.
Just asking for a friend.
The thing is, Julia, it's not about putting more police officers on the street, although we love that idea as long as they've got the right powers to do it. The issue is that His Royal Majesty's Inspectorate has identified the issues are wider. There isn't the investigative mindset, there's inexperience.
Yeah. But there's also this idea of we don't deal with a lot of low-level crime like shoplifting. It's not low-level crime if you're the person running the small shop that's having the stuff shoplifted. But also, as we established, there's a small number of people committing a lot of crimes. It's the same people in my local high street who are committing all the shoplifting. If you just arrested, 8 people, you'd have a 50%, 70% cut in the number of those shoplifting crimes. So it's crazy that it's not dealt with. I just don't think there's any strategic policing of what we call low-level crime anymore.
No, there isn't. But then the government is changing this because there's this wide immunity that if you steal anything below £200, that's okay. And I think criminals have got.
Well, it is. No, it's still criminal. They just don't bother with it. They can still prosecute it. But they are changing that, aren't they? But that's the thing. I just do think that it's been policing choices, not often by the police officers on the ground, but the chief police, that they've been prioritising different things, hurty tweets or whatever. I know there's a lot of serious crime. There's historic sex crimes and things like that involve a lot of work. I know there's a lot of the tech involves a lot of extra work as well. I get all that, but I mean, people just want this basic policing job done. What do you make of West Yorkshire Police? Bearing in mind we've got a recruitment crisis for the police already, but West Yorkshire Police, one of our biggest police forces, forces, they're temporarily blocking applications from white candidates in an attempt to boost diversity. They said, well, look, we've got 30% of our local people are ethnically diverse, and only 9% of our officers are, so we're going to give basically priority for this time period. And if you're white, you're not going to be allowed to apply, but if you're of an ethnic diversity background, you can apply. And I mean, look, you're from an ethnic minority in this country. Would you want anyone thinking that you needed priority because of the colour of your skin to get your job? Because as a woman, if someone gave me priority because I was a woman, I would be offended by that.
Yes, let me answer that. Let's get it clear as to what we're actually doing. And I think, we need clarity on this. What is positive? It's called positive action. It's not positive discrimination. Positive action. I know you're thinking, what? What they're doing is they're allowing these people and giving them extra support because they are short and they want a representative workforce, which I agree with. As long as it's positive action, it's not discrimination at the point. So what they're doing is they're saying to them, saying to people that are underrepresented, look, apply, we want you to apply and we'll give you the extra support to, encourage you, tell you what the job is about. But so you can apply all year round. And what we'll do is when we put the adverts out, then everybody else can apply. But at the point of actually going through the process wholly, going for the interviews, everybody's on an equal panel.
Yeah, but that can't be true because, I mean, there's no reason why you should stop white applicants applying all year round as well. If you're not going to get any more people from ethnic minorities getting into those jobs unless you are giving priority. Why not allow white candidates to apply all year round as well? Unless you're giving priority to those candidates from an ethnically minority background.
No, you're not giving priority to them. You're just saying to them, look.
They're not saying they're doing that. Just because they're not saying they're doing that, because that would be illegal, because it's racist, because judging people by the colour of their skin, last time I looked, was a bad thing and racist. But you say it's important and you agree with it should be representative. Why should the police force be representative, sort of, accurately representative of the wider population? Should it be 50% women? Should there be a percentage for gay people? Should there be a percentage for short people, for ginger people? Why should it be representative?
Well, it'd be representative because it helps the communities that you police.
Why?
It's important. Well, because if you've got 23% minority police communities, they may not be speaking English. They may not be able to relate to somebody else. So
Well, they should learn English then, if they live here.
Well, listen, Julia.
They should learn English.
They could learn English, but there's a generation of people that don't speak English. And
we should have racist policies for hiring police because these people come to this country and don't learn English. Doesn't seem the right priority at all.
Julia, it's not racist. It's perfectly legal under the Equalities Act 2010 to have positive action.
It's racist. It might be legally racist, but it's racist.
Well, how is it racist, Julia? Giving somebody else, giving them the opportunity to apply, helping them.
If you discriminate between people based on the colour of their skin, that's racism.
But you're not discriminating, Julia. You're just giving somebody, saying to them, look.
You're making it easier for one group based on the colour of their skin. That's discrimination. That's racist.
Julia, it's not discrimination. It's not racist, because when it comes to actually getting the job, you're both on an even
But they're
keel.
not. You know that. They're just not saying the quiet bit out loud because they know that would be illegal.
Well, then, the whistleblower, and I have a lot of respect and a lot of time for whistleblowers, this needs to then be investigated and taken further.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. Oh, look, time is against us. You can hear the music. I want the other stories I wanted to get to. Nusrit, I so appreciate you joining us. Thank you very, very much indeed. Nusrit Mehtab, former superintendent at Scotland Yard.